Marshall, here comes Clark. How will she go for history? The all-time leader.
Caitlin Clark, Iowa's long-range queen, didn't just light up college courts, she practically set them ablaze. She's not just a standout, she's a phenomenon. Entering the WNBA with more buzz than the launch of a new iPhone, Clark brought the kind of once-in-a-generation talent that's earned her a fitting nickname, the Unicorn. In fact, her influence is so massive that it birthed a whole new phrase, the Caitlin Clark effect, a term that captures the seismic shift she's caused in the popularity of women's basketball. But of course, with all that spotlight comes shadows and critics. The loudest of the bunch? The "she's not ready for the pros" brigade. These sideline skeptics were chirping louder than a 3 a.m. car alarm, dismissing her dominance with tired takes like, college is one thing, but the WNBA? That's a different game. As if the rim suddenly levitates an extra foot once you hit the league, most rookies might buckle under the weight of that kind of scrutiny. What she delivered wasn't just a debut, it was the ultimate Tuscaloosa heart. In today's video, we're diving into how Caitlin Clark delivered a frosty dose of karma to one of her most outspoken critics, Lexie Brown of the Los Angeles Sparks. And let me tell you, the shade was so icy, it might have left Brown with frostbite. But before we unwrap this drama-packed story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more sizzling WNBA revenge tales. Now, let's rewind. Lexie Brown's envy toward Clark may have been simmering for a while, possibly dating back to Clark's NCAA days when she was racking up headlines like it was second nature. Who's to say for sure? Things really heated up when Ice Cube stepped into the mix, offering Clark a staggering $10 million deal over 2 years to join his Big Three league. The offer made headlines everywhere, and rightfully so. Ice Cube clearly saw superstar potential in the rookie, but before the ink was even dry, Lexie Brown...
What do you think about Ice Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in their league?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but the first one is, so you offered the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season, so that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And then for us to get just constantly shit on, you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this.
Well, that's a whole lot of shade, more than you'd find on a dense forest floor. When you compare the pay gap between Brown's WNBA salary and Clark's potential Big Three windfall, it's like comparing a kid's allowance to a life-changing lottery win. Over 6 seasons, Brown's racked up around $300,000, which isn't bad at all, but when you stack it against what Clark could potentially make in just 10 games with the Big Three, it's pocket change. It's like Brown's playing for a snack while Clark's playing for the entire buffet.so. How did Clark respond to all this shade? Simple. She took it to the court. The rookie didn't just talk back. She let her game do the talking. She was ready to remind everyone, especially Brown, exactly why she was the top draft pick. Fast forward to May 24th, when the two faced off on the hardwood. It became a tale of 2 basketball nights. As the game tipped off, Clark stepped onto the court like she was straight out of a sports anime, her eyes locked in with a focus that almost seemed otherworldly. With every dribble, the ball felt like an extension of herself, and the crowd, sensing something extraordinary, leaned in closer. And extraordinary it was. Clark's performance was a masterpiece, each move a perfectly executed note in what could only be described as a basketball.
That's what 6'5" would do for you. I don't have that luxury. Nice give and go. Clark right at the cup and she gets the bucket.
Utility from 3 for the Sparks, 0 for 9, and Caitlin
Clark's stat line? 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Now, 11 points might not seem like a huge number, but in the WNBA, that's like dropping 50 in a casual pickup game at your local Y. Trust me, I know, security had to escort me out once for excessive celebration after I finally hit a layup. But I digressed. It was her 8 assists that truly told the tale. Each pass was like a stroke of genius on the court. Picture, if you will, a point guard with the vision of a hawk and the precision of a master surgeon. That was Clark on this unforgettable night. She didn't just pass the ball, she teleported it through spaces and angles only she could see. Her teammates found themselves receiving passes they didn't even know they were open for, like unsuspecting recipients of a surprise.
There's 25.
How about back? Bidley running the floor there. And the find there from Clark.
Is it underrated?
Everybody talks about the logo threes.
Yeah, they do. Nice concept, good execution. What a pass.
And Wallace.
Now, let's awkwardly shift to Lexie Brown's night. Oof. You know that feeling when you're about to sneeze, but it never happens? That was Brown's performance. 5 points trickled in like reluctant raindrops during a drought. 5 rebounds came to her almost apologetically, as if the ball felt bad for her. And those 3 assists? About as effective as a feather duster in a tornado. I'm not here to roast Brown, everyone has off days. But in pro sports, an off day is like showing up to a black tie event in pajamas. People notice. It was like that time I tried impressing a date with a fancy dinner. Clark was the gourmet meal I promised, and Brown was the burnt disaster I actually served. And just like my date, the fans probably left hungry and disappointed. Clark's team took the win, 78-73. But this wasn't just any win. It silenced the "she's not ready" crowd. Clark didn't just compete with seasoned pros like Brown, she dominated them, in the world's toughest women's league. It was like someone telling you that you can't handle spice, and then you
clear 8, shot clock down to 9. Here as Clark gets inside, the scoop shot falls. And the high low, blocked from behind. That was Caitlin Clark. And a shot clock violation. Well, some really good defense here from Indy.